Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Precision Pulse, the podcast where we explore how precision thinking, intentional living, and evidence based strategies can shape the more balanced, vibrant, and purpose driven life, eventually improving the lifestyle experience. I'm your host, Amit Jain, a life science professional by training and awareness geek by heart. Today, we are diving into a topic that sits right at the heart of everything we try to explore on this podcast: happiness. But not the fleeting or surface level, but we are talking about the science of happiness. What if happiness was not just a feeling, but a measurable, teachable, and trainable state of being? Our guest today leads one of the most innovative efforts to answer that question. I'm thrilled to welcome Professor Nitin Arora, Professor of Happiness and Head of MIT University Reiki Foundation Center of Science of Happiness at MIT University, Noida in India. Dr. Arora has over 2 decades of global academic experience across India, Singapore, UK, and Middle East. He's on a mission to explore how happiness can be taught, measured, and lived. He's also the author of two acclaimed books, Pebbles and Consciousness Puzzles. He regularly leads corporate training and global workshops on emotional resilience and organizational happiness. Through his work, Dr. Arora is pioneering new ways to integrate happiness into education, leadership, and everyday life. And that's the value proposition we are trying to explore here today. Try to link the science of happiness to the precision practices, ultimately trying to understand if it can help improve the lifestyle experience and add to the longevity. In today's episode, we'll be discussing how science of happiness aligns with health, performance, and precision living, and how we can begin to take small, data driven steps towards greater emotional alignment and joy in your everyday life. So, whether you are a health enthusiast, a curious mind, or someone looking for fine tuning the way you live and feel, this episode is for you. So, let's get into it. Nitin, welcome to the Precision Pulse podcast. We are very thrilled to have you here.
Thank you so much, Amit, for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Nitin, as like you and I were talking previously as well, that I feel very intrigued when I heard about Center of Science of Happiness. And then as immediately I started thinking, this is something which is really critical for somebody to improve the quality of life and add to the longevity, because happiness, I feel, the soul of anything and everything you feel. So let's start with understanding what is science of happiness and how it's different from general psychology or mindfulness.
Amit, whenever you ask anybody what are they looking for in their life, be it a scientist, be it a doctor, be it a beggar, be even a teacher, ultimate thing they want is happiness. It is just that the principles were there long time, principles were there for ages. It is just that the name has been given science of happiness.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was embedded into our system for long. So yes, as the head of Center for Science of Happiness at MIT University Reiki Foundation at MIT University Uttar Pradesh, Noida, we are doing this thing for last 4 years. And if I want to just say one thing, have you ever thought, have anybody audience have ever thought, what is the root word for the word happiness? So it comes from the word hap, H-A-P, and
Yeah.
HAP means something like chance, accidental. So if you are happy, you are accidentally happy. So people think if you are happy, you are lucky. So it is that way people thinking. But actually, there could be a systematic process by which at least we can have some percentages of success guaranteed, because people are happy when they're successful.
Yeah.
Even if this podcast goes successful, you are happy, I am happy, audience is happy. If this
Sure.
podcast goes somewhere else, then something else, because success is measured as a root, or you can say as a benchmark for happiness. But yes, when we talk about the happiness, we just say one thing, as you say, principles. For everybody, happiness is different. So whether it is resilience, whether it is psychology principles, but what we are thinking is four levels of happiness. One is
Yeah.
body happiness, mind happiness, emotion happiness, and we have energy happiness. So we think in these four terms. If the principles are aligned with these four concepts of how to make the body fit, happy, how to make the mind fit, or you can say aware, or you can say far more intelligent, far more creative, or if we say how to make emotions happy, either if
Yeah.
I say how you can be more resilient, how you can be more compassionate, how you can be more caring, that is emotions are happy. And then finally the basis of all the three is energy happiness. So energy is the basis for all the three. So if we want to say this, so let these be the four principles. From my perspective, there are hundreds of theories of different perspectives, but I think these remains the four crux. If you touch these four vibrations or touch for these principles, then happiness or science grows. Because when we think of science, think in just one term. Even for the audience, if I tell you that there is a switch by which you can put the switch on and the light comes on, if you show me this magic, I will not get impressed today, because
Yeah.
I know there is the signs of a button, and I know there is a current passing, and I know the current will move on and light will click. But if I show you this magic 400 years back, then you will think I am a god. Okay, I have a button and I can put the light on. It is just that okay, now everybody is a magician in this world, but we are not thinking this is a magic, but we think this is a science. Similarly, millions of things are happening at all levels. If we just collect all those happenings, collect all those, you can say, coincidences, or you can say, collect all those ancient knowledge, then we combine them and we can say, yes, this is a science. Science means, okay, you can repeat, you can scale, you can repeat the same thing again and again. And people think, if this is how, so if you can make the body happy in some systematic manners, if you can make the mind more creative, competitive, if you can make the emotion more calm, soothing, cool, calm, something like that, you are successful in that. And if you can energize your life, relationships, your body, then you are successful in that. So these are
Yeah.
the four buttons or principles, which, if you say that.
Totally get it. Very, very interesting. We'll go a little more deep into all those four buttons as you mentioned here, and then I can imagine like there's a lot of work has gone through ages looking into like in today's world we do a lot of literature search, try to learn from the past work somebody has done. I'm assuming this is very similar approach here to understand what has happened in the past, what we learned from our past, and then in the current activities. So that brings me to another question: can we measure happiness objectively, and if so, how we could do it?
If you want to measure money, you have a bank account and you want to learn maths. If you want to measure, you can say, the fitness of the body, then you have to have a weight machine which can measure your weight. You need an inchy tape which can wrap around your biceps and curls. Now this much is that. Similarly, what is the thing that you want to measure? You need tools around that.
Yeah.
So if the thing that you want to measure is outside, you need a tool which is outside. Similarly, if you want to measure something what is inside, like in our happiness world, we, those who are into this measurement and scientific people and all that, they don't consider smile as a metaphor for happiness. They don't
Sure.
consider. Even if you are not smiling, you are still, you can be still happy.
Yeah.
You can be happy. But yes, there are various researches are there which can be measured. If I say, there is one thing called as cortisol hormone. So this is a stress hormone. This you can measure very precisely by some methods. Even if you don't want to go to the hormone level, you want to just start first objectively. Objective means through questionnaires and all that. So there are some questionnaire available also called as Oxford, you can say, happiness questionnaires. They're
Sure.
available. So this also we use in our classes also as the first self audit. Before we start the class, I always say one line: before we take off, first of all, we should know where we are right now. Where is our plane? Is it in the ditches? Is it on the smooth land? Or it is already flying high? So those who are already happy, you can give them new tools. Those who are into depression, you can give them other tools. So
Yeah.
what is the level of happiness they have? First, we need check it out. Second is, excited people have a high heartbeat.
Okay.
Like if I say dog lives less years than a tortoise. Tortoise will live long because of the slow heartbeat, and a dog will live short because of the fast heartbeat. So there is a thing called as heartbeat variability. So
Hmm.
you can measure the heartbeat. If you are happy, you are calm, composed, your heartbeat will go down. So this is also being measured, that many sages, many spiritual people, those who are meditators, they have been observing that once you reach to a high level of happiness, we say bliss, or you can say samatva. So at that level, the heartbeat goes very slow. And there are always a thing called as for the brain, that is called EEG measurement. So
Yeah.
there are many things which are available by which you can even measure your brain waves. So there are brain waves which are called focused. You can say alpha, beta, theta, gamma, and all that. Gamma is the, I think, the last end. And but normal one, when we think about the brain waves, either you are focused or you are lost.
Yeah.
So those cluttered waves that can be measured. So once you are happy, you are supposed to be calm. Excitement is different thing, but then if you are happy, then brain waves will differ. So yes, you can always measure in that way. So there are questionnaires, there are machines, but most important people, what I always observe is, if you measure happiness, happiness will go for that person. So you don't have to touch it, because there is one science also which we say is matter. I hope you know there is one famous, you can say, contradictory Nobel Prize winners. So there was a person who got a Nobel Prize because he thought that you can say particle is, you can say matter is a part, something like moves like a particle.
Okay.
And then he got a prize, and then his son got a prize, Nobel Prize, because he said it's a wave. So how can a same thing can be a matter and also be a wave? Matter matlab you can always measure with prediction. It is moving with this speed and position. But
Hmm.
when you are a wave, you cannot predict at all.
Yeah.
So here you go. So if I say, if you are happy, and if I open up your brain, will you be happy to let me
I mean,
know
no.
how much happy you are? But smile is a good indicator. Smile is a
Yeah.
good indicator. So
Yeah.
if I hug you, you hug me, it's a good sign that we are good friends.
Yeah.
But scientific people want that they should measure everything, because it's a big, you can say, a new boom in a science and all that. So they want to cut open everything.
Sure.
So few things we should measure, but this is how people are doing it. But this is for
Hmm.
a unhealthy, or you can say a psychiatric cases, we should keep it out. But normal people should not let their brain open to get
Yeah.
their happiness checked out.
To get their happiness. It's so. Is it safe to assume that if you try to quantify it, there is no direct quantification of happiness, but conceptually we can say, as you also mentioned in terms of class, when somebody starts a class or in a lecture, you do the baseline, like what is your level at the beginning of the class, and what your level is going to be during the class and toward the end of the class, right? So, and how you feel is kind of measure of happiness, right? It's so we can say is you can still quantify it, but that is personal perspective, how you react to certain things, right?
So if I am correct, you are asking me, is happiness quantifiable?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. Let me again reiterate. Yes, whatever you want to measure, suppose happiness, we have to just understand happiness as a human being. It is basically a complex organism, whether it is a brain, whether it is a heart, whether it is a lungs, but actually we are you can say, we say AI, but then we are RI. RI means real intelligence.
Okay.
AI is artificial, which is we are using, but somebody who will use AI is the RI. But still, we have the same circuits, we have the
Sure.
same brains, we have the same, you can say, similar kind of a networking system. So if you want to measure, but we have different research being done already. There are various bodies who have done researches. Suppose if I just count few of them, one is done by the AIMS. So AIMS have said कि like if you are doing this kind of meditation and some kind of methods, the stress and anxiety goes down. They have done this research. Even if I say there is a famous research, I think by Murarji Desai National Institute. So they are talking about if you are doing 21 days Vipassana, 21 days this, so they are able to increase the performance of the people. They are even talking about that. Even there is a scientist which we says is okay, if you are into this, you can say happy zone, or you can say a kind of peaceful zone. There's a component in the brain called hippocampus. So
Yep.
hippocampus, you can say the side which controls the memory part. Suppose while talking to you, Amit, if I forget your name and if I just forget I have a podcast to do, and I just leave the podcast just like that, it will be a shock for you, but actually my hippocampus failed. I just forgot.
Yeah.
So if you want a good memory and you want a self-awareness, then you want a hippocampus to be working. So that increases, or you can say that functioning goes far better. So this is also a measurable one. And there is one research which says is happiness, basically people are more happy with the relationships than with the material thing.
Yeah.
I still remember, if you allow me, I'll tell you an incident about Indra Nui. You know Indra Nui,
Mm-hmm.
ex CEO of Pepsi. So
PepsiCo.
there was a funny incident which happened. Interview was going on, and she was asked, "What are your top 10 checklist of your life?" So she said, "Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi. My children, two children, grandfather means my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my mother and father, and at the bottom she kept the husband, 10th number."
Mm-hmm.
So the husband was next to him, next to her only. He said, "You see, my wife value me at the least." So then Indra Nuvi, I love repeating this example each time, because she said you can look at any situation in two ways. One is you can think negatively that you are at the bottom of the list, or you can think positively, you are in my list.
Yeah.
So you can say people think relationships is also a good source, but then depending on your role play that you are doing,
Yeah.
you are a CEO, you are a cabin attendant, or you are a doctor, they have different priorities.
Sure.
So this could be measured, yes. And the role played is a hippocampus, and one more thing is amygdala. Amygdala is a famous center for fear and stress. If this goes, suppose I tell you a joke and you don't laugh at it, and if I tell you that somebody has died and you don't react to it, there is nothing problem in the whole body except amygdala. So amygdala, if it not functioning, you will have less of fear. So those who are fearless people, maybe we can think they are too strong, but असल बात हो सकती है कि they are having weak of amygdala issue, something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
This is how you can say there are various researches also being done, and various elements are being found of different part of brain, relationship, physical activity, different things are there. So yes,
Yeah.
they are measurable, but what you want, and I always say four things: one, body; second, mind; third, emotion; and fourth, energy.
Got it. Yeah. This is very very good. So this is more of a, I would say, personalized view of measuring the happiness. It all depends upon how you feel individually and how you are wired, like how your physiology works, how your neurology works, which I think is helping. It's bringing us to our next list of question, wherein we talk about how personalized activities or precision activities could add to the happiness, and which eventually will support the lifestyle experience. Which and then you indirectly did mention with few examples around the hospitals doing the support, doing the meditation, wherein, like, it improves the quality of life, which directly or indirectly adding to the happiness. So my next question is, what you think conceptually, based on your experience, whether cultivating happiness is contributing to overall health and longevity, or it's not at all directly or indirectly related?
Sir, if I say first of all a little, you can say punchline. If you are keeping your people around happy, you are living long. But then
Okay.
this is in terms of science of happiness, we say four chemicals, we say dose: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. So happiness is the new public health asset. I don't know if you have heard about, there are some insurance companies, they are giving coupons to the customers that please go and use the gym.
Yep.
So they are giving free coupons because they know that if they die early, they have more of issues to pay money. So if they live long, so yes, they would be at a little financially happy also. So yes, if I want to say how to cultivate, so first is always that कि लोगों को खुश रखो sir. But then if I want to go typically on that, it would be in the domain of, you can set dose, four chemicals. One is dopamine. So if I'm in the class, I ask my students, why you are watching the phone all the time? Sometimes if I ask them and they just keep checking. So I tell them a joke. If you are checking the phone very frequently, you are like a newly born mother who keeps checking the diaper of the child if the shit is still inside or no. So you just check the diaper, there was no shit, but then the fear or the curiosity comes, like a newly born mother, a few feelings. So those who have a weak self-esteem, they want quick victory. They want quick
Yeah.
victory. Whether they want to win a video game, that whether they want to watch a new Netflix, whether they want to talk in the team meetings. I watched that Netflix. Do you know that? So this is small, small victories. So
Yeah.
dopamine gives that. So if those who are longevity, they think relationships, they want to make it strong. They want to get a problem of FOMO, fear of missing out. Because when you discuss in a meeting, you discuss only this only. Na? Did you watch
Yeah.
that? Did you saw that? Did you got that mobile? Did you got the feature? So you always are in a rush. Ke, oh, I missed out. So there will be a small, small victory which you will be getting from dopamine. So that is one. I know some of the people in my network, they called up somebody in Dubai and they said, please get me an iPhone, iPad, and iPod and all that. So they said, why do you want? You don't have this salary to even afford it. So she said, because in my office, if you want to enter into a circle, you cannot enter unless you have the iPhone, iPad, and all these watches and Apple watches and all that. So they
Okay.
think you are low. Again, this is a, you can say, oxytocin. This is the feeling of bonding. Are you feeling the feeling of bonding very easily? So, but that chemical responsible is oxytocin. So, yes, you will be surviving in a company long. So, even if you value yourself in a company, that I'm valuable, not just by work, but by bonding also. So female have a different way to bond, and the chemical release, the reason is different one. But if you want for the male, they have a different reason how they feel the bond. So they want a physical touch. This is one very important thing that they are finding out. They will feel I love you only if there is a physical touch, which is not the same for the female. They are happy to eat, so food will give them more happiness. Again, a physical touch is there. But
Yeah.
even so, here the thing is, if you want to live long, what is the focus? Third is serotonin. Serotonin is of a different nature. It is to yoga, silent chemical kind of a thing. And finally, it is your painkiller, endorphin. So when we talk about the longevity and we talk about the how to cultivate, so whatever we are doing, each of the element is adding one or the other chemical or happiness chemical. So by this, we think we are doing well. Do we think, just a thing came to my mind, sometimes people think a devil lives long, a saint dies early. So people might keep on thinking कि wow वो तो मजे कर रहा है और वो लंबा जी रहा है.
Yeah.
And somebody who is hitting the midnight oil or burning the midnight oil, he dies early. If you check up all the saints, they die very early. But you check up all the other people, they live very long. So here is the question. That is the different chapter altogether. When we discuss something about karma and all that, that is a different issue altogether. But yes,
Mm.
for a normal understanding, they are only giving an idea about one perspective is, if you want to live long, just manage the four things. Chemicals will manage from inside you, whether you have a brain chemical, it means all the chemical from brain only. But whether you want to manage your body, you have to manage your fitness, chemicals,
Yeah.
if you want to manage your mind, and so on.
Yeah, this is very, very educational, and you brought up good examples and trying and related it with the physiology and chemistry, which adds or which either contribute or not contribute towards happiness. And then you did mention about how you feel FOMO about certain things, certain discussion, and that you can clearly see even personal experience. You sometimes you feel by if you are able to contribute to the conversation or you are able to at least understand, you feel that okay, I'm getting it, I'm part of the discussion, even if you are not actively participating, you feel good about that. I'm just trying to kind of correlate this with somebody who is not doing very well. If there are patients who are struggling with a lot of either complication because of the disease or some of the mental instability as a side effect to what they're dealing with in terms of disease, or cancer patients or neurological patients who are multiple sclerosis who are not able to move around, lose control of the muscles. I'm assuming that if they are able to control or they are able to increase their level of happiness, it is definitely going to improve their lifestyle, their experience. Because currently, again, I think with your example, if you measure the baseline, so the excruciating pain or very high level of unhappiness is their baseline, right? But when they start practicing certain activities that might improve what they want to achieve, and that adding to happiness, right? And so is this safe to correlate this way, that if certain activities are to be adopted, no matter whether you are a fully healthy person or you are not a healthy person, it will add to your quality of life?
Sir, there is one person who was the youngest advisor to Ratan Tata, late Ratan
Okay.
Tata. His name is Shantanu.
Okay.
He started his firm called as Good Fellows or Good Fellas, something like that. And what they are doing is, it's like you have a Blinkit, or you can say you have an Amazon for delivery of items, right? Whatever you want to buy. So the concept is, you can order 1 hour of a grandchild. You can say that. If I'm a grandpa, I want a grandchild for 1 hour just to be with me. So
Yep.
you are emotionally outsourcing your requirement. And that person said in one of the interview, he said, the biggest problem of somebody who is sick or who is old is not that they want to be young or they want to be healthy. The biggest problem is they are thinking they are invisible in the home. The son don't want to talk to the person. He just say, just be in the home. The grandchildren, they don't want to talk because they are too outward active. And so he said that the problem with the people, those who are old, is that they are invisible. And they said sometimes they even forget. Suppose they have a memory issue, as you asked me, those who are physically weak or those who are having some physical issues, how it can add to them. So again, I'm rating the four things. Body. I'll just the first part, body only for them. He said, if I'm going to them for 1 hour and I just hug them, so they are very happy on the very moment. But next moment they forget me. Who am I? But the smile on the face remained to them or on their faces for long. He said there is a muscle memory also. So if you are by default happy even for 2 seconds, this will continue for some time. One is a mind memory, you can say other meaning a psychology memory, but other one is a body memory, muscle memory. So
Yeah.
if you are learning to smile also, your body will be at ease and your body will show some kind of a softness.
Yeah.
So I'll give you one extreme example of a different nature. So you might have heard about Ramayana.
Mm-hmm.
Ramayana, famous, you can say a book, and the reality is the other thing. But I'm just saying, while the Ramayana was pictured, or you can say enacted. So the question was asked to the director of the Ramayana, of that, or you can say the serials. So it was asked, what was the way you choose the character? Who can be Lord Rama? Who can act like Sita? Who can act like Lakshmana? What was your parameter? He said, I didn't thought much. I just gave the same dress to all the characters which I thought, and I asked them to walk in front of the camera. Whoever was graceful, I choose him to be Lord Rama. Whoever was not graceful, I choose him to be someone else. So that was his way. So he said, if somebody is happy for long, his walk, his talk, all will change. So yes, and now you might heard about even the actor who played Lord Krishna, Nitish. So a question was asked, why you don't do much of the acting? He said, no, wherever I go, people bow down to me. Even Lord Rama said, the same actor, he said, wherever people bow down to me. So that bring up somehow permanent change inside me, and I
Yeah.
cannot do anything else but inside. So this is a impact of muscular memory. If you do something again and again, again and again, it will bring a change in your hardwire. It will change. So yes, if you are a happy fellow, you will be by default regularly forgiving, regularly encouraging, regularly motivating, regularly many things it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for bringing this example. And again, I think being born and grown up in India, I was able to connect and then
Yes.
understand like what you're talking about, Ramayana and Mahabharata, and who played Krishna, who played Ram. I still remember those characters very, although it was in my childhood, but it's those are memories which you always keep forever. So another simple transition from feeling of happiness and then adding to the quality of life, making it a little more personalized. My next question is, how important are personalized well-being strategies in context of happiness and improvement in lifestyle? And again, I think what I want to get to is whether social routine or tailored meditation or practicing gratitude, what do you think all these are somewhat directly or indirectly influencing your happiness? Because what we have seen in our past podcast episodes, that these definitely are adding to improved lifestyle experience, which ultimately adding to your, we call in scientific term, quality life years or longevity, whichever we can measure it. But I think I want to understand some correlation with happiness.
Okay. I'll give you various kind of examples, different nature. First, starting with happiness is like a Netflix recommendation list.
Okay.
So this is a very custom list which you will get only in your account, which I won't get from my account. So yes, happiness means different for different people, for sure. For me, what could be happiness will be different for you. And second one, if I say, I know some family members, one of the person, he said when his mom was too sick, and before that the father also died of sickness, and then he was in the hospital, and he has seen some kind of painful procedures, and something similar was recommended for the mother also. So the mother said, son, I have seen your father suffering in the hospital, and then I cannot bear the pain seeing my husband in the pain. So after he was brought from the hospital, the quality of life in the home was deteriorated. So I don't want the same kind of a thing. If it's okay if I live 1 month less, but I don't want to be in that pain 24 hours for 6 months or 1 year. I don't want that. So yes, for somebody who said, "Okay, I want get the things done. I am the boss of the house. Get the best procedures, get the best decisions, get the best doctors." That was his choice. But then somebody who want to focus on the quality of life, seeing somebody suffering. So you can be wise either by your own experience, or you can be wise by observing somebody else. So this is a second way of thinking. Okay, yes, personalization is important. Even at MIT University here, if I want to say, if I am telling a joke, even in the class, some people, or you can say majority, will laugh. Some people will not laugh. Can you guess why?
Maybe they didn't relate to it, or they didn't get the joke.
Maybe they know it.
Oh,
Maybe
maybe
they
they know
know
it.
it.
Yeah.
So similarly, in India, there was a very famous example we say about Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, when he was a young boy in the class in the college, a question was asked by his professor, and he was very naughty. He was very intelligent. He was very much a questioning student in the class, and professors were tired of him. So one time, to trap him logically, he asked him a question. Narendra, his name was Narendra before he became Swami Vivekananda. He said, Narendra, can you tell me the answer if you are walking on the road and you found two boxes? In one box, you have lot of money, gold, diamond, and in the other box you have books, knowledge, and thing. Which one you will pick it up? And he said, sir, I will pick up the money and the diamonds and the gold. He said, aha, you fool, you should have picked up the knowledge and you could make millions. He said, sir, people will pick only what they don't have.
Yeah.
So again, it is happiness. If I have a house full of roses only, a garden full of roses, I'll get bored.
Yeah.
So rich people are bored of money, poor people are bored of God. Poor people are having too much of hope, and it is surviving for them, but they want money. So those who are in the West, they are coming to India for spirituality. Those who are in India, they are traveling abroad for money. Imagine. So whoever want whatever, it will pull that. Like Vivekananda said it, whatever you don't have, you will just get that.
Hmm.
So yes,
Yeah.
personalization important. Everybody will think differently. Everybody will act accordingly.
Yeah. And that's, I'm assuming that's good for when you experience social routines, when you go out with friends, it adds to your happiness. Then it eventually improves. You feel good about it. You might feel FOMO in those small groups that changes your measurement of
That's the
happiness. But
constant race.
concentrate, yeah, exactly. When I'm just trying to think like some of the correlation in terms of meditation, if I'm feeling a little calm, if I'm feeling stronger from inside as a result of doing 5, 10, 15 minutes of meditation, or just, and then my meditation could be personalized. I might meditate by watching TV for an hour, which gives me energy, or I might read a book that I can call as a meditation, or I just meditate, play om or chant any mantra, which again, personalized, but adding to happiness, which eventually is improving the lifestyle. This is very helpful. Thank you for bringing in all these deep dive context and examples. Sorry,
Just one thing when you were saying about meditation. Yes, first of all, this is not you can say a 5 minute or a 10 minute, or just to maybe put my point of view. And similarly, it is not watching a TV makes you meditative. That is a different world altogether. If I want to just say in one word, meditation is going to kill your mind. So when the mind is being killed, it is not that it is a 5 minute. You are not there. You are done with the things. You are done with the toys of the mind. So
okay.
happiness, when we say here, the last level is the, you can say, spirituality, or you can say the last stages of the energy level. Just want to add one example. Have you ever thought there is a goddess called Durga?
Yep.
So have you ever observed that she has 8 hands and she's sitting on a lion?
Yep.
And have you observed that she is holding all the weapons, or you can say the symbols of all the gods? Lord Shiva, she has carrying, you can say, Trishul. Vishnu, the Sudarshan. Lord Brahma, the Kamandal, and other tools, weapons that she's carrying. All she was the famous story was like that. She was asked to kill one devil who cannot be killed by Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma or Lord Vishnu. So the story was like that. We need somebody who can hold all the weapons together and then hit at one time.
Yeah.
So she was the only one who can carry all the weapons of all the gods. But Lord Durga is Goddess Durga is also known as a goddess of energy.
Hmm.
So higher the energy level, higher the, you can say, the focus on the body, the mind, and the emotion. So yes, you said very rightly. Start with that, but then in the end, energy remains. All God merges into one, called as
Yeah.
energy.
Which ultimately could influence your level of happiness and your self-being, if I
It
have to.
will not influence. It will not influence. You are happy. You are done. You are done.
You're done.
You are done and
Yeah.
dusted.
Okay. Thank you for bringing up this example. And I'm actually learning a lot. I'm just listening in and I'm just meditating while you were talking, not to get my nerves ending,
I,
or not to basically give up my brain, but it's feeling like I'm sitting in a very very educational environment.
you said
Yes.
very rightly, not using the brain. When happiness grows, we go to the very last level where mind is not required, and
Yeah.
you enjoy the process. That is the whole
Exactly.
game. That is the whole game.
Yeah.
People, those who are using too much of brain, they are in the asylums.
Well, I'll give you one example, and then we'll move to the next question. I think this is just personal experience. I like watching TV and not using my brain. Like I just and then and just watch TV for unlimited amount of time if I can. And then when I'm done, then I try to review what I did, what I watched. I remember everything, kind of a high level summary of any movie or any series I'm watching, but I don't remember all the characters, deep dive. And sometimes I feel, okay, I'm just keeping my brain on a side and I'm just watching it because it's re-energizing my body, or it's giving me a level of satisfaction. So like there's a term called cinemasm. So it's like you're feeling good about doing any activity that basically is adding to my happiness. I just wanted to give this. And then like my friends and extended friend circle in the network, like I hear very similar stories and experience about people. Just some people like to just play, they keep on playing, and then they feel okay. I said, you don't get tired of it? No, I feel more energized. I feel more happy. I said, okay,
You
that's
see,
again
custom. It's a custom.
individualization,
It's a custom
personalization.
thing.
Exactly.
Personalization.
Yeah. All right. Good. I think we are doing good in terms of time as well. I think we got, although we had a little rough start because of technical glitch, but I think we
That
we
is
got
the
over it.
normal. That is the normal
This
happy
is
start.
yeah.
So
But at the
I
end,
always say that whenever things start unhappiness in an happiness podcast, it is testing your happiness.
we and I experienced the changes in my level of happiness. I was very excited when we started, but then I couldn't get you on the stream, so it felt me a little irritated and unhappy. And then I saw you, and then okay, we are good.
Good to
So
go.
it compensated the lost time. So I want to come back to Center of Happiness at MIT University, and then understand about the process and philosophy or psychology around supporting the corporate. So but before that, I want to basically start, how is the science of happiness integrated into MIT's curriculum or student life? I think let's start from there, and then we could transition into corporate.
Right. So at MIT University, Uttar Pradesh Center for Science of Happiness, when we started this system of, you can say, happiness, so it was jointly with the foundation. It's called Reiki Foundation. They are into Reiki Foundation of Happiness, and they are the supporting system because of which we started. And they were very happy to support the university in the time of Corona. It was Corona time, at which time when we started the Center for Happiness, and system was purely online at that time. So at that time courses were started. So at MIT University we run courses on happiness at undergraduate level, UG level, and PG level, and even PhD program.
Yeah.
So we have all the things running up here. So how we started, it was basically a course online. When Corona got over, then we have a full Center of Happiness. I'm sitting right now in Center of Happiness only. I
Hmm.
can share the video also a little, the audience also a little later. So this Center of Happiness, where we have 1,300 students per semester, they are taking the courses on happiness. They are from different backgrounds, whether forensic sciences, engineering background, business background, you can say mass communication, you can say physiotherapy, different backgrounds at MIT University. They are required and they can attend the happiness courses. So they are all open elective courses. So
Okay.
they can pick up the courses on happiness, and as per their own time and as per their own program, they can free to choose the program. Even we do a PhD program, you can say, where the topic could be given in the domain of happiness and well-being. Programs, you can different institutes, they send their students. to Center of Happiness, where I become the guide, and they pick up a topic of happiness and they relate with their own domains. So we can have a co-guide, we can have a guide, something like that, system, whatever feel convenient. But the topic remains as happiness and well-being of employees. One of my scholar was a GM of ONGC, and so he did his PhD in happiness. It's on team happiness. If the team is not together, so you can say team energy. So I always say four words: body, mind, emotion, and energy. He said, I'll pick up the word energy, I will apply in the word team, and then I will make a thesis on that topic, sir. So he did successfully. He's the GM ONGC, and also he's the head of CSR right now in ONGC.
Yeah.
So there are different people who have been different topics. Then we also do happiness conferences. We do research conferences in happiness. Just 2 weeks back, we have finished a conference in Ministry of Agriculture. So Ministry of Agriculture, we did 3 days online training for happiness for scientists of agriculture, students, faculty members, you can say corporate world, they also joined in. And we were lucky that we had the president of Reliance. He was there as an expert speaker in our
Okay.
happiness conference. Even the ex CEO of Z, he was also in our happiness conference. So even the big shots of different companies, they're very kind enough. They value the happiness, and they were here with us. Even the, I don't know if you're aware of this, we have in India State Department of Happiness. Can you believe that?
I did not.
So just like in UK, if you are since in UK, there is a Ministry of Loneliness. If you are
Okay.
in Dubai, there is a Ministry of Happiness. Sometime back it was there. Now it got merged into a different, you can say, ministry. But yes, in India, we have a state department, or you can say State Institute of Happiness. So it is in Madhya Pradesh, MP. So we collaborate and we do even conferences together. So we have done one conference with them also.
Hmm.
And you can say, we just, you heard about MUN? Have you heard about MUN? Model United Nations.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So this is a event where students come and interact on global issues.
Yep.
So we started a happiness MUN. So this is where they interact on the happiness issues of the world. So they talk debate on that. So in that we had almost, you can say, colleges, universities participated, and I think many countries also participated. So this is how we integrate. So we have a courses, we have projects, we have trainings, we have a PhD program, we have conferences, we have books, we have publications, research. That is a combo package that we have here.
Yeah. Okay, this is, I'm very impressed with the kind of activity and then initiatives MIT University has. And then you brought up really good examples of the international like ministries and then organizations who are exclusively working on happiness, which tells us that this is very critical for your well-being, for your personal quality of life and the longevity. So with this establishment of Center of Happiness at MIT University, you are conducting undergrad program, grad program, and PhD programs as well. And you brought up an example of head of ONGC being your the PhD, finished the PhD. That means corporate world, and we see this here as well, is seeing and understanding the importance of happiness. Now, a different level of happiness, different type of happiness, but they see the importance and criticality of happiness. In your experience, have you noticed it in terms of when you started during the corona time where people needed a different type of happiness, what now transitioning into the corporate world where it's a different level type of happiness? How have you seen that trend moving? And then do you see like in the corporate world whether it is really critical to kind of have these type of program ongoing, and then what that might look like in future?
When
Sorry, so many questions, but I
I'm I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying. I'm flowing with your questions. I'm flowing with your mind also. So
okay.
I remember when we started this happiness center, we have to approach some corporates and we have to invite them as mentors, or you can say advisors, not advisor, as a mentor or support system. So many people were very upfront and blunt. He says, happiness is nonsense. it makes no sense, right? What are you going to do? You are going to make your employees happy and they will leave you. You spend money on their happiness and then they will leave you in between. So it makes no sense. But then there are some people who says they have a philosophy. If you see Google, so they are spending too much money on the employee well-being and happiness, and many things are they have been doing, right? One thing I still forget, and I can forget, that is you can even bring your bike into your into your cabin in some offices. So you have rides and all that. But this is nothing but, recently I just heard there is a job, there is a you can say a kind of bench in organization, that you are being paid to just not to do anything, and not to, and you are going to get paid $70,000 for doing nothing. Be our employee and keep your mind cool and be creative, but don't join any place, don't go anywhere. So that is one little tricky thing I found. People are even paying to do nothing, but then that was a creative kind of a thing. When you have no project, but you are a special employee and you have no project, so we are keeping you alone, but don't go anywhere, keep your cool, enjoy the life, and just be with that. So if I say nonsense was the first word I understood in the very beginning, people don't want to enter into it. They think it is a waste of money. But then, as we see now, after Corona, mental health, or you can say mental tsunami, or you can say that mental health crisis is just around the corner. What does that mean is, there was a time when out of four people, one was a mental case. Now this can go from 1 to 2 or 2.5. So it means, if you are not keeping the software clean, body will crumble. Body will crumble. So yes, so the acceptance is coming. Acceptance coming from the companies, from time when we started to time we are here. Many companies we are going, and we are going and delivering the short training program. We have done with Ministry of you can say Agriculture. We have done with AICTE, is the education body in India. AICTE, those who are not in India, they should be knowing that if it is like a Ministry of Education, something like that, who controls the technical bodies for approvals
Okay.
and all that. So we were the only one who did the happiness training for 5 days under AICTE banner. So we did that. So yes, they are opening up. They said to me, sir, there were thousands of applications out of for opening the for doing the FDP, sponsored FDP, but no one had offered or proposed happiness FDP. Your university was the only in India who asked for happiness FDP sponsorship. So just out of that, we are approving. One of the reason was that we were unique in the concept. The idea was strong, speakers were strong, and that became a first beginning point. So we started with that.
Yeah.
So yes, acceptance is growing very high, because they know that if you don't keep your employees happy, by default, performance or creativity won't happen. I remember one joke. There was one employee who signed a resignation letter, his letter for resignation, on tissue paper, and he gave it to the HR. And he said, this is my letter of resignation. He said, what is this nonsense? He says, wherever I am working, I should respond accordingly. So they don't deserve a full A4 clean paper. They deserve only that. So when employee is too angry, the way they will behave is unbelievable. And when employees are happy, chances are there they can behave in the most nicest fashion, in the most creative fashion. So loyalty is not the new buzzword. Loyalty was the unhappy buzzword, that you keep suffering and you are loyal, loyal, loyal. But nowadays, it is the young generation, the millennium one, or you can say the current generation. They are thinking, if you don't give us the peace of the mind, we don't stay. So if you
Yeah.
see the comparison of the past, if you check up your at the father age, so they can start the career in one company and leave till the retirement in the same company.
Yeah.
But nowadays, people change companies like diapers. So in every 2 month, 1 month, 3 month, you are somewhere else, because they think, if they don't value my peace of the mind, I am not comfortable, I will leave. So
Yeah.
because they have nothing to lose, They have a home, they have a all car, they have no responsibilities, just their own lifestyle they have to manage.
Yeah.
So yes, in that perspective, things are changing because customer is changing, employees are changing, and the responsibilities are decreasing for many people in the workforce. So they can demand mental health.
And yeah, and I can relate to that, being working in a corporate world when I was in India and then in US as well. Again, I think here definitely there's a big CSR departments here who are basically funding. I haven't seen, actually, to tell the truth, that funding for happiness, but I am now, after I started talking to you, I'm probing a little bit more, and then I see there is a good initiative in the Western world as well. And then I agree, keeping your employees happy has to be actually on the high top priority. And it could be, in company like free lunches, cocktails, different way of keeping them engaged, making them valued. It's also adding to the happiness.
I give you one
This,
challenge. I give you one challenge, or anybody who is listening to the podcast. If you just say, call your boss, if you call your boss and you say, I love you, right? Maximum bosses are responding in a manner, please don't resign. What happened? Tell me.
yes,
Because bosses are not used to good news. Bosses are not used to emotional, positive news. They are used to firefighting. So
yeah,
things goes wrong, somebody complaining. So if you say I love you or something positive, I appreciate you, their mind will switch to the routine one. What happened? Why he's resigning? Why he's
yeah.
telling me his emotion now? It means he must have resigned.
Must have resigned.
So
Yeah,
so people
got it.
talk negative while they are working, and they
Yeah,
talk positive when someone dies.
yeah.
This is the culture.
That I agree, and I agree totally. Um, so let's move a little bit towards happiness as a myth. So that's, again, we can talk about it forever, but I just want to understand, maybe related to the corporate culture, can we say, or is can we say happiness is a myth as well? And
Oh,
if you
yes.
could comment on toxic positivity, how do we differentiate between genuine happiness and forced optimism, and that I have seen in corporate culture a lot. But I just want to understand what's your take on it, and then how you describe it.
So a big myth is going about happiness. I very said in the very beginning also, one point I said, the smile on the face can be a big deception. It is not necessary that you are a trained PR. A trained PR is designed to smile all the time.
Yeah,
So happiness is not positivity all the time. So this is one number with, okay, you cannot think happiness, you have to be always positive, positive, positive. Happiness also include other side also. So in case you heard about the word diversity, so it means you have multiple types of employees or different cultures, different nations, different background, different experiences in an organization. So we say it's a diverse organization. Similarly, having a diverse emotion is like a good thing to have. If I First one is always, happiness is not positivity. It's not, you cannot have all the time. It will be dark and then sun and then dark and then sun, night and sun, sometime moon, sometime candlelight, sometime tube light, sometime neon light. So this is the shades of happiness always remain. You cannot have only one thing all the time. You cannot have happy moment all the time. Number one is, people think happiness will come after you get success. So suppose if a question was asked to one of the actor, Ritik Roshan was asked, he was told, if your movie becomes a hit, then you will be very happy. If your movie becomes successful, he said, I have many good movies. I am not a happy person because movie is only one element in my life. I have my wife also, Suzanne. We had a
yeah,
divorce. We had some health issues. My father got attacked. I have other issue. So there are hundreds of issues which combine into my happiness. If I am focused only on one segment out of my thousands of components, I am fooling myself. I am just blind to the other side. But yes, there are some people who do that also. See the all the segments and they see only one segment of the life and they think they are too happy.
Yeah.
And third myth, if I want to say, is people think happiness can be bought. So some people say, you want to be happy, I give you a diamond. I get you a diamond. I get you a car. I get you a bungalow. I get you this. I get you that. If you train your child like that, they might get a new father also. They might get a new mother also. They might get you a new son also. So that is not, but the joke goes like that way. Some people who think happiness cannot be bought. But some people say, if you cannot buy happiness, you are searching in the wrong market. You can buy happiness also. So
Wow.
depending on what you are saying, at what level of growth of stage of your life you are. If you are at the body level, you can have a trainer, you can get a good body. If you are at a mind level, you can hire the best employee. I remember when I was in American university for 4 years. So it was NYIT. I was in Jordan. I was in
Okay.
American university. So I told one of my students, please study. At least you have a business to maintain and your father doing a business. After him, you have to maintain the business. So at least have a good education, good thing. He gave me the answer of my lifetime. He said, sir, don't worry about me. We will hire Indians. If you think I don't have a brain, I will hire the best Indian and I will put him into my firm. He will do my work, sir. So, at what level you are talking to
Yeah.
somebody? And that will be a big myth. And yes, some people say toxic, as you ask me about toxic positivity. Some people love hot coffee, some people love cold coffee. So, I say in a lighter moment, some people don't resign from the job or from a relationship. Even the boss is toxic or even the partner is toxic. They don't resign because they think मजा नहीं आया अभी और मजा लेंगे जरा. So
Okay.
if they enjoy being toxic, this is one of the way. But toxicity simply means how to observe if someone toxic or no. They how they say is I'm fine.
Yeah.
ठीक है.
That.
So
Yeah. So sorry, I'm
so
just kind of
yes,
was reacting to this when
yes,
you said I'm not done yet, or
yes.
I'm like. But again, I think your example of Hrithik Roshan, wherein having a hit movie is not just, or successful movie is not just the only measure for happiness. There are a lot of other elements to that as well. So I'm just thinking, based on your example, is toxic positivity, or is also like, even if your boss is toxic or your partner is toxic or your environment is toxic, this
How much
is
loans
just
you have, how much loan you have, how much EMI you have. If
how
you
much
have
EMI.
high EMI, you will absorb the toxic. If you have
Exactly.
no EMI, you will sell your kidney. Means if you have loans, you will absorb all the thing. You will
Yeah.
get a heart attack. You will get a kidney failure, but still go to the boss. I
Yeah.
remember my one of my teacher, Amit. He said that when he was in US, and at 8 o'clock morning, he was sitting in the office, and there was a young girl of 20 year of age and 25 something of age. So he asked why you are sad today. So she said my husband died last night. So he
Okay.
said if your husband died last night, what are you doing here at 8 o'clock in the morning? He said my boss said if I don't come, I will have to leave my job. So will you say toxic? Will you say this ruthless? Or will you say inhuman? Depending on how much people can absorb.
Yeah.
If you can absorb, you will say go to hell. There are some cases where if you have a broken fractured leg and the boss says I will give you a chair, come to office, he says go to hell with your job, I'm resigning today, and done.
Yeah.
So how much you can absorb, how much you can't absorb, depending on your capacity of your mind. That's toxic for you. Else
That's
मजा नहीं आया अभी और हम nonsense लेंगे अभी और मजा
yeah.
करेंगे.
We'll do that. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So again, I think we are bringing it down to your personalized endurance, or ability to push it back or absorb it based on how you feel about that. So what I want to do is, I introduce this time a rapid fire round. So it will be a quick question, and I'm testing it on you. But again, so that like we can get our audience understand, if they can get a very quick key tips from our invited expert. So my first question is, and it's going to be only two questions, maybe three maximum. What's one habit you do every day for your own happiness?
So I don't want to go in long one. I just want to give a tip. Just text message to anybody saying thinking of you. If you message this thing to anybody in the night or in the morning before you go to sleep, just say thinking of you. You are awesome. I'll appreciate this thing in you. That is one thing. If you can do that, I learned this from even this Google CEO Sundar Pichai. He has a
Yeah.
habit of calling three people in the morning.
Okay. So that they feel good and valued. I think my next question is somewhat related, but I think you already answered it. Maybe if you can add a little more context. One simple tip for listeners to boost happiness today.
I am a big believer of manifesting. If I want to say that, start speaking whatever you want. Start speaking that.
Okay.
People only think here, they don't open up the mouth. So, the
Yeah.
formula for manifestation is very simple: intention plus speaking or writing or whatever, that will make it manifest. So, start speaking more, just don't keep thinking.
Yeah. And it will spread in universe.
It will
And
spread,
yeah.
it will spread
Yeah.
out.
I
Energy
am a
never
big believer
dies.
of that.
Energy
Yeah.
never dies. So, speak
Okay.
out.
Thank you. The last one. What does precision mean to you in context of emotion or spiritual well-being?
Okay. When I say precision, it simply means micro,
Precise.
precise. Precision simply means, for my perspective, is micro disappointment or failure, small disappointment. I will not say failure. It's a very heavy word. If you are able to be, if you are aware of what is minor disappointment, what is minor happiness. So somebody asked me how to stop a fire in Amazon jungle. At what point you can stop the fire, which is engulfing the whole Amazon? I
Yeah.
said, okay, if you can stop the fire at the lighting point, when somebody was matching the matchstick and when putting the first fire, if I could have stopped at that point, my jungle would have been saved. So focus precisely on at specific awareness of micro disappointment or micro happiness.
Wow.
It could be anything.
This is going really good. I wish we could keep going. The last one is, where can our listener find you and learn more about Center of Happiness?
So we have a website of mit.edu/happiness. We can also go on the website of YouTube channel. We have you can say www.youtube.com/happiness mit.
Yeah.
So it is happiness with an Y. It is
Yeah.
this one, and the
And
other
we'll
one.
relate to our audience as well.
Right.
So when we'll release the podcast, recorded version of it, we will include that. Well, I think that was it for rapid fire round. And then Nitin, really thank you very much for sharing your insights and giving us a good context on how precisely optimized practice, especially controlling or contributing to happiness, can transform our health and lifestyle experience. I think we feel enriched and feel happy that everything went well. So that is my level of measurement.
Thank you, Mr. Amit, for inviting me. And I'm also grateful to our Honorable Founder President, sir, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, our Honorable Chancellor, sir, Dr. Atul Chauhan, under whose leadership we are having the Center of Happiness running successfully for last 4 years at MIT University. And it is being taken by all the hands to by thousands of students. And this podcast, I'm sure this would have added value to you and to your audience. And I have opened up my heart depending on your questions, and the examples, experiences of different nature has been shared with you just like that. And I'm sure we would be walking along, because happiness is a long-term journey, is a long
Yes.
journey, and miles to go, and we have to walk together because it is not a solo journey. You can be happy, but if you have no one to share, your happiness is dying. So the
Yeah.
science of happiness is always sharing, and it grows. The lower happiness you have to protect, the higher happiness you have to share a lot. That is how the things of happiness grows. And I'm sure you also had a good time. Thank you so much, and learning from you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So, with this, we wrap this episode of our Precision Pulse Happiness. This is we had a great fun talking to you, Nitin. Thank you for spending your time with us. We are honored to be part of your journey towards the living and greater clarity, balance, and precision. Again, we plan to launch the recorded version of it in all major platform, including Spotify, Google, Amazon. Please do visit Center of Happiness. As Nitin mentioned, they have a YouTube channel as well, and there are great contents. I have looked at those. I have listened to those. There are podcasts as well, which is talking about happiness, talking about quality of life. This is very good. And then please do follow Niem Bio on LinkedIn. We are also launching ourselves on Instagram and Twitter X as well. So with this, I close this episode. It's a wrap. Until next time, please stay focused, stay intentional, and keep your pulse aligned for happiness. Thank you.